very specific missing piece to the healing of trauma when we're dealing with inner work. Watch this video. To my channel. If you're new here, please click the little subscribe button, the bell to receive notifications when I release new videos. And if you've been with me for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. Today, I'm just coming off of a couple client calls, and one in particular I just met, and within 10 minutes, I was given the message to ask her about her 9-year-old. And what she said was, that's when it all happened. And so this is what I want to dive into in this session, is that I have this weird, cool ability that I think a lot of neurodivergent people have the ability to tune into, which is called multisensory. It's multidimensional thinking with a high sense perception. And the thing is, many highly sensitive people are blocked from their gifts because of trauma. And a lot of the trauma came from this gift, because when you're a highly sensitive individual and a highly perceptive person, you're perceiving the denied wounds of everyone else around you, and you don't have language for it. And so, if you don't know by now, I have just released my book, Too Conscious for This World, You're Not Wrong, You're Early. And the point of this is so that so many of you can start to understand the process of healing back to the gift, to understand that there was never anything wrong with you. What's wrong is that no one understood this ability in you. Nobody was as perceptive as you. So I call it too conscious for this world, because you're too conscious for the family system, this educational system, some of the medical systems. There is a way we can tune into things that a lot of people can't. And what this one client asked me is, she's like, well, as a therapist, I understand that trauma takes a long time to heal, right? And I said, no. The way I do it and the way we talk about it here is I like to go into not only the somatic, but also the spiritual and emotional all at once. When you're a multidimensional thinker and seer and feeler, and you have clairsentience and claircognizance and clairvoyance and all of those things that are tuned into because you've done so much of the healing work that your stuff's on fire, it can be an experience where someone can have healing almost on the spot, sometimes on the spot. And so that's what I've seen in my work. I get very annoyed when I constantly have clients that come to me that say they've spent 20 years in therapy. I'm like, no one should be in therapy for 20 years and not get to another place, right? And so what I like to say is, when we get to that root cause and I can see the age immediately and I know exactly where we're going and you're aware of it, and we can integrate it somatically, emotionally, and spiritually, what happens is there's an experience called an integration. So I like to say that my work is inner child integration. When there is a trauma or there is a block in your life or there is a pattern, it's because there needs to be a deeper level of integration that can happen when all parts are seen at once. So what I told this new client, I said, your 9-year-old really wants to be heard and seen right now. So we work with that age. We bring that age with us. See, what happens is those old patterns hold on to us. And when we start to make change, it gets louder because it doesn't want to be abandoned. So we don't leave our inner child over here and say, you're the traumatized one, I'm moving over here. What we do is we take her or him with us and help them integrate, as if you are reparenting that aspect of yourself that before now you've been afraid of. You've been avoiding because it's the pain you can't handle. When you're doing it with someone who knows what the heck they're doing, it's not a pain you can't handle. It becomes an experience you get to release and integrate. So what I want to say about this too is, a lot of times when we're in avoidance of this pain that we couldn't handle back then, or we're in avoidance of an experience we can't quite name, or we're in avoidance of a lie we had to accept because we couldn't control it or do anything about it. An example is, when you're a child, you can't actually do anything about the situation you're born into. But as an adult, we can stop doing to our inner child what was done to us as a child, and we can start to actually have the ability to accept the truth, not the story we had to accept to get by the situation. And what I mean by that is, so many of us have decided, okay, I have to be perfect in life and appear like I have everything together so that no one sees the shame that I feel from not having the family that I needed to love me, or not having a family that understood me, or a world that understood me. And what we start to realize as we tell the truth to ourselves and start to share it with trusted people is that the experiences that we had were not our shame to carry, were not because of us or because there was anything wrong with us, but really because they were broken systems, right? And in my book, I have many, many chapters on all of this. So I suggest you get it, because everyone who's read this book is like, how are you talking about my story? Because it was my story. And so what we have to understand is we're not in this alone, right? We are in this together, first of all, but you didn't feel like you were in it together with your tribe. And now you get to kind of rise up to really see what was really happening. So when we start to get really honest and stop saying, oh, there's something about me to hide away because I'm the reason. When you start realizing you're not the reason, you start realizing you're not the problem. When you start to realize that maybe you've created problems in your life because of the original wound, but that was just a reaction to trauma. When you can start to understand all that and validate that, it's easier to see the truth of what happened. We don't have to avoid it anymore, which means we don't have to be attracted to and attract avoidance. When we attract avoidant relationships in our life and we keep them there without the boundaries or discernment to choose again, we're doing it because it's comfortable, because that's the distraction now. That's the problem. I don't have to look at this. I can avoid the thing that I really need to look at, which is the real reason I'm attracting these avoidance, but also attracting an avoidance to the next level of success, to the next level of visibility. That upper limits issue is still right there because that's what I'm comfortable with. We have to get uncomfortable to get really comfortable. And so what I like to do in trauma healing work is understand that the pattern you're having is working for you in some way. The resistance you have to grow and change is the thing we need to work with, not push aside. So if you are someone who is in a pattern, who is in a relationship dynamic, and you're like, I just don't understand what this is, or maybe you're starting to understand it and you're saying no, but now you're in this transition period where there's no yeses. This is all part of the process, and really diving in to sort of taking yourself out of the prison of I might be bad, I might be wrong, I have to prove that I'm good. When you start to know that you are good, there's no more proving. There's no more striving. There's no more I have to do this, because you just know that you're enough being you. And if you don't feel like you're enough and worthy just being you, there's probably some work to do that you're kind of in avoidance of, or subconsciously in avoidance of. And that's where my work comes in, where I tune in and I say, this is the age and that's the thing you can't avoid, but you might get more open to explore. So just so you know, I start my inner work, my new inner work program, which is group coaching, September 7th. You might want to check that out. You might want to join my truth room so I can dive into you and see what's going on, right? You might want to just comment below and see if this makes sense for you. When we know that we're highly sensitive, highly perceptive, and we're shut down to that ability of having insight, of just knowing things, it's because there's probably a layer of trauma trying to keep us safe until it feels safe to be seen by you and claimed by you so it can be freed by you. So I hope this helps you. If there's anyone in your life you think it could assist, please send this video to them. Please make sure you're subscribed and grab the book. If anything, start there. I think the stories in my book that are extremely vulnerable and transparent will actually allow you to see yourself a little deeper. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.